Discover the heart of Pittsburgh at Mount Washington Shop and Save. At Mount Washington Shop and Save, we're more than just a grocery store. We're your neighborhood destination. From the freshest local produce to gourmet delights, we've got it all under one roof. Experience convenience, quality, and savings all in the heart of Mount Washington. Mount Washington Shop and Save, where Pittsburgh shops with a view. Shop smart, shop local, shop Mount Washington Shop and Save.
Play It Again Sports in Greensburg is your locally owned and operated sporting goods store. We set ourselves apart by offering a wide variety of both new and used equipment at competitive prices. Located in the Greengate East Plaza, below Walmart, Play It Again Sports' knowledgeable staff will help you and your family prepare for every athletic season. Whether you're looking to buy, sell, or trade, we are here as your one-stop shop. At Play It Again Sports in Greensburg, everybody plays.
Thank you for calling Penny, PA's health insurance marketplace. How can I help you?
I need help paying my health insurance premiums.
You came to the right place. Penny gets you the lowest costs on high-quality plans.
Enroll now at penny.com. Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
In the final game before Christmas Day, it's the team that was the only one to register a loss for Baldwin in the regular season a year ago. That was at South Fayette. This one back home at Baldwin High School. As the South Fayette Lions are in town to play the Baldwin Fighting Highlanders. Baldwin boys basketball action on the Baldwin Sports Channel in partnership with TenbandTV. Hi, everyone. Austin Bechtel joined alongside Ethan Spazarski back at the scorer's table. As Baldwin did take care of business a year ago against this South Fayette team at home, and that matchup, South Fayette losing it against Baldwin 62-36. It was a dominant performance. But the game that was played at South Fayette was the true story, where the Lions held Baldwin at just 32 points, 37-32. Pretty much everyone went cold in that game. Nate Westling, the only one that could find the bottom of the basket. Max Marziana had a couple of opportunities with open threes in the corner to give Baldwin either the tie or potentially take the lead in a couple of different occasions. Baldwin was not able to do it, and that was the lone blemish in a 21-1 season South Fayette, a little bit of a different team this year, lost 4 seniors. We'll discuss them in a little bit more depth, as well as Baldwin, that is currently sitting at 4-2 overall, 1-1 in conference action. South Fayette at 2-5 with 2 losses in section play compared to just 1 win, as we pause for our national anthem. Great live rendition of our national anthem. As the Lions of South Fayette are in town to play against Baldwin with a couple of familiar faces, including Braden Plasko, the junior 6-foot guard wearing number 23 for the Lions, who's very important piece, leads the team in minutes. Dylan Mons and Braden Plasko, both 2 juniors that are key impactful players. They start 4 juniors in the starting lineup, with the lone senior being Tyson Wright, a 6'4 forward wearing number 0. And they like to play through their 2 bigs. Wright and Keener at 6'4 and 6'5 is going to be a challenge on the low blocks.
Exactly, and Baldwin faced a lot of height last time we were able to be here with Peters Township, and that showed to be a little bit of a challenge, especially with that zone defense that we saw Peters Township run. A little bit different with Trinity. There's not a lot of height there with Dunkel having to graduate. So Baldwin now, they're able to find a bit of a rhythm and kind of find exactly where they need to go. They'll be able to do just that. A team scoring 64.5 points per game in section games and just a point less overall this season against a team offensively that South Fayette's been struggling to find consistency as well, only scoring about 46 points per game in section play.
Baldwin is coming off of a 66-49 victory against Trinity in a game that was moved from Friday night to Saturday due to a power outage at the gym and prevented us from not being able to broadcast the game with it being on Saturday with the changes that were made. But Fighting Highlanders were able to come out with the win. Good performances from Max Marzina and E.J. Goldvash leading the charge, and a lot of other key contributors out the bench as well were able to factor in to the victory, 66-49, as the Baldwin Fighting Highlanders are announced by Brad Schulte. So the starting 5 for the South Fayette Lions as they go. Tyson Wright, the senior, wears 0, with Owen Keener, the junior 6'5 forward, wears number 5. Eli Latouf, a junior 5'11 guard, will wear number 11, with Mons and Plasko rounding it out for Dave Mislin, the head coach of the South Fayette Lions at 2-5 and 1-2 in section play. For the Fighting Highlanders as they go, E.J. Goldvash and Max Marzina started out the lone holdover starters from a year ago. Goldvash, a junior 5'11 point guard. Marzina, a senior 6-foot guard. Sadiq Anderson, the sophomore guard, has come on for Baldwin, has scored double figures in multiple games this season. 5'11 guard, wears 15. Baldwin will start Teo Toole, the senior guard, wearing number 2. 5'8 guard, with Bryson Smolko jumping it up. The sophomore 6'4 forward, wearing number 25 for Jeff Ackerman in his 6th season leading Baldwin. Baldwin home whites, purple number, purple trim. Green uniforms for South Fayette, white numbers, and green trim as we are underway from Baldwin with South Fayette attacking the right side basket. As you see it, Austin Bexel and Nathan Zarsky alongside of the Baldwin Sports Channel as they go down low immediately to Keener, and he's able to score.
Yeah, waste no time. Get off on the right foot. Exactly what you can do. It all starts with winning a tip. Now Baldwin's forced to have to go and respond early on.
And Marzina almost traveled as he was able to get it over to Golvash. Smolko comes up for the screen. They deliver it. Golvash dribbles into a three. He's got it. EJ Golvash rolls it in for the first points for the Fighting Highlanders to take a 1-point lead, and they immediately deploy the press with Anderson on the ball. They get it up the floor quickly, though, with Latouf. Latouf bounce pass to right. Right turns around and finishes inside the paint at the same spot. Keener was able to hit his shot. Quickly up the floor goes Golvash. Golvash inside. Backs it out. Marzina on the head fake. Inside. Marzina pulls up. Misses, though, and Wright grabs the rebound. Latouf now has it and swings it over to Wright. Right side wing for Plasko. Plasko crossover move on O'Toole. Golvash tries to poke it loose and grabs the steal. Golvash up the floor, but he stepped out of bounds. Right at half court, right in front of us. And that's where South Fayette will take over out of bounds.
Much faster paced game than what we saw against Peters Township. I mean, first possession for Baldwin. It took almost 2 minutes for them to go down and score. We're not even 2 minutes in here, and we already have 7 total points between the two teams. But you're seeing South Fayette be able to be physical, especially down low in the offensive paint, to not be able to force stuff down low and get what they're able to make.
Plasko on the wing. Swung on over to right. They're trying to isolate down low. Smolko defending Keener. And it's out of bounds. Last touch by Keener. He was looking for a foul as he hit the deck. Doesn't get it, though. And Baldwin will inbound. It'll be Golvash that will throw it in, with South Fayette deploying the press as well. It's Plasko and Marzina up the floor. And Marzina drives in, dishes to the corner, and Anderson. Anderson has the baseline, takes it, puts it up, a lot of contact, no foul. Keener tries to rip the rebound and does as South Fayette moves up with it. Dylan Mons up the floor. And Mons defended by O'Toole. Mons dishes and it's Keener. Down low, Plasko. Plasko puts it up. Wright fights for the rebound. Instead, it's Golvash. And Golvash is able to get it out to Marzina. Baldwin pushes with numbers. O'Toole to Anderson. Anderson pulls on the baseline. Too strong, though. It's rebounded by Keener. Smolko over the back, picks up a foul.
I mean, you're kind of seeing, again, the fast-paced tempo, but you're starting to see it's South Fayette being the one to control it. They're the ones who are controlling the tempo and working at their pace. Kind of looks like Baldwin's trying to play catch-up here early on rather than slowing down and knowing that they control it. There's no shot clock here. You can take time to get a better look.
Latouf trying to get out of there, and they're able to outlet the Mons up the floor. Mons drives in, puts it up, and finishes. Easy shot for Dylan Mons.
Yeah, that's 3 different scores now for the Lions.
Anderson on the long pass, tries to find Smolko, but it's deflected out of bounds by Keener.
Yeah, we've kind of talked about as well something early on, and you saw EJ Golvash contribute. You need your 2 stars to contribute because those 2 are your returning guys. They know exactly what it entails in each and every day coming out to start for Baldwin. Kind of see need more of that early on.
Golvash turn around shot, left it short, and the rebound is corralled by Latouf. Golvash averages 16 a game. Eli Latouf, the junior guard. They're trying to set up Keener down low. They give it to him with the mismatch against O'Toole. Keener backs in on O'Toole, and he's able to get it to go. Owen Keener just too easy as they didn't send the help over in time with O'Toole defending. The 6'5 player against the 5'8 Tay O'Toole.
Something else to note, Baldwin hasn't scored since their first possession with an EJ Golvash early on 3. Need to find the bottom of the basket here to be able to keep up with South Fayette.
3 minutes gone by. Anderson on the wing. Left side goes to Golvash. Golvash pulls the trigger for 3. Left it way short. Comes up looking for a foul, but a good contest from Latouf to force the errant shot.
Yeah, now you give not only that, there's no foul, and South Fayette gets the ball back, and they can now go down and push and try to find an answer. 3 different scores, but Keener's definitely been their key guy, needing to be able to adapt to the fly and contest. Not allow Keener to be able to get open down low.
Plasko easily up the floor. They break the press. And it's Mons driving in. Mons, scoop layup's good. Dylan Mons with 4 points. South Fayette's built a 7-point lead. There's Marzina. Baldwin offense lifeless so far in this first quarter outside of that first possession. Now they'll try to set it up in the half court. We'll send Anderson cutting inside the paint as Marzina looks to isolate. Now O'Toole get the screen from Marzina. O'Toole has Anderson open in the corner. He'll take the 3, and Sadiq got it to go.
That's exactly what you needed. You saw Baldwin control the pace on their sequence.
Off the steal, gets it to go. A 5-point last 10 seconds or so for Sadiq Anderson as Teo Toole comes up hobbling and has to go on off to the bench.
Nice thing with Teo Toole, he waves off the head trainer for Baldwin, letting Ellie know he's all good. He just needs to be able to walk it off, take a few seconds, but he's going to be tended to either way. It looks to be on that left leg.
Nolan Machurak comes in for Baldwin, wearing number 13, sophomore. Turnaround shot, Mons is fouled.
Yeah, that one clear, a slap right to the wrist, a little bit too close, up close and personal for Machurak there.
And Machurak immediately picks up the foul. That's his first. It's a second against Baldwin. Two free throws for Mons. And he got the first. So Nolan Machurak, younger brother of Nico, who's still injured, played the first game, but appears to be dressed on the bench. We'll see if he's ready to come back. Didn't think he'd be able to until about January. Golvash takes the miss off the shot from Mons. So it's Marzina, Golvash, Anderson, Smolko, and Machurak. As Anderson has it up top. And gives way to Golvash. Good contest and good switches off the screens from South Fayette. Golvash just lost the ball as he tried to pass it. Up the floor goes South Fayette, and the ball is blocked by Anderson on the shot from Levisher. And it's last touch by Jake Levisher, freshly into the game for South Fayette. He turns it over.
Well done by Sadiq Anderson. You're not able to get the foul down low on the baseline, so you go down and respond, gets the right hand out there, blocks the shot, and even more importantly, Baldwin gets possession.
Marzina drives in. Scoop layup is good. Max, good balance to be able to hit his first points.
And there it is. Top two guys have now found their way onto the score sheet. Even more importantly, you're seeing other guys be able to contribute to that cause.
Cross court to Mons. South Fayette able to break the pressure. Not fazed by it so far. It's Keener now with it. Double team comes from Marzina. They back out of it, and it's back to Mons up top. On the perimeter. Anderson defending Keener. They swing it. Cross court to Plasko. Back to Mons. And Mons looked for the backdoor cut. It wasn't there. To the corner in Plasko. Defended well by Machurak. Plasko turns around. Can't finish, though. And it's rebounded by Golvash. Golvash is able to maintain his balance. Spins away from the pressure. Golvash to Anderson. Anderson. Baseline bounce pass. Smolko plus the foul. Sadiq Anderson finds his fellow sophomore, Bryson Smolko, for a potential three-point play.
And that's exactly what Baldwin was able to do against Peters Township. Quick, fast passes, work down low. And while it was Jackson Otto early on in that game against Peters Township, this time Bryson Smolko, great work to be able to work quickly, get it up, and force a foul.
And Smolko, who's a good free throw shooter for a 6'4" big man, with the foul going on Mons for his first. So the first against South Fayette in the quarter. He hits it. And Baldwin now with a 2-point lead. Up the floor they go. Noah Feltz into the game for South Fayette. South Fayette's going to play about 10 guys or so off the bench in total. 10 guys overall in the game, as they'll bring about 5, maybe 6 off their bench in reserve. As Marzina is able to get a hand on it on the shot from Will Scanlon. And Scanlon appears to be in a lot of pain on the floor as he slapped the floor with his right hand as he fell awkwardly. And Dave Mislin is now on to the court. We'll take another look at what happened as Scanlon was driving with it, went around the screen, and it just came down really poorly on that right ankle. Oh, man, that did not look good.
Non-contact injury, was able to go up and get there. Great work by Marzina to work down low, and great defense. And you're seeing Baldwin now kind of transition defensively, being able to get stops, and more importantly, find baskets on the offensive end. And that also credits to Smolko being able to capitalize on a three-point play and not be able to, and not have to try to miss the shot and then recollect yourself offensively. Baldwin's found more answers defensively and more importantly offensively as well.
And Tony Cherico, an athletic director for Baldwin, also comes on to help Will Scanlon off. He cannot put any pressure on that right ankle. As as he just took a bad step as he fell, putting up the shot. So he will be sent behind the bench to be attended to by the trainer. Alex Dean's a junior 5'9" guard, wearing number 4 into the game for South Fayette as well, as they get it into Keener. Keener defended by Marzina, turns around, misses it this time, and Smolko grabs the rebound. Marzina up the floor. With a 2-point lead. Marzina gets around the contact, takes it as he hits the deck. And Max a little bit slow to get up, but is helped to his feet by Smolko and Anderson. And Max a little bit hobbled, but is able to make it to the free throw line without much of a problem as Scanlon picks up his first.
Well, you also got to recognize that, Max Marzina has never been one to be afraid of some contact, forcing himself down low, willing his way to the glass to be able to go for a layup. And this time it benefits, more importantly, he gets up and he's okay.
It's been an adventure at the free throw line for Max Marzina this season, but he's able to make the first. Anderson goes off as Tay O'Toole returns. We saw O'Toole early on in this first quarter hobble off to the bench as he was hit right around half court. I think it was when South Fayette was trying to break the press at one point, and he was just kind of walking around behind the bench to try to shake it off as the ball is out of bounds. Looks like it hit the top of the backboard and maybe even the wire as it went up on the second shot for Marzina. So he's 1 of 2 at the line and extends the lead to 3.
Yeah, more importantly, it opens up the door now for South Fayette to be able to hit a 3 with 1 possession game still intact. Baldwin's really got to find a way to answer that free throw problem here early on in the season.
They break the press with Feltz. Defended by Golvash. He tries to poke it free, but instead picks up a foul. And it's the first on EJ. It's the 4th called against Baldwin in the quarter. Rather, the 3rd against Baldwin in the quarter with 2:01 remaining.
More importantly, being able to spread out the fouls. Last time out, Baldwin collected a lot of fouls overall, but it started out because Baldwin collected them all on the same 3 different guys. So being able to spread out fouls, if you're going to have to foul, is going to come in handy for the late game if this trend continues to be close.
Here's Feltz. Swung on over to Plasko, who pulls for 3. Rattles off, rebound Marzina. Max looks to push with it. Marzina will back it out. Marzina, O'Toole, Machurak, Golvash, and Smolko, the 5 for Baldwin. Down low to Golvash in the post position. Golvash swings it cross court. Good look for O'Toole, who pulls for 3, but left it way short. It's rebounded by South Fayette. Plasko looks to move with it in transition. Plasko down low, Keener, knocked away by Smolko. Marzina with numbers. Max gets away from the pressure, but Machurak was not looking for it, and Marzina looked for a no-look pass, and it was Machurak instead not looking for the basketball.
Sometimes you got to be able to work with the fundamentals rather than trying to get fancy with it. Great work for Baldwin and be able to work quick in transition to get the defensive stop. But if you're going to be able to do that, you got to be able to execute and know you're on the same page rather than just trying to throw one up for a cool play.
Mons back in for South Fayette. O'Toole goes back off to the bench as Anderson comes on. He defends the basketball and brings over the trap and almost forced to travel against Mons. Here's Feltz resetting. Defended by Anderson. The final 65 seconds. Levisher swung around to Keener. Keener with Golvash on him. Wide open shot for Levisher in the corner. Rattles off. Keener fights for the offensive rebound, but he's over the back, picking up his first foul.
Yeah, you're seeing Keener, just the ability and the size he shows. Tallest right now on the floor at 6'5" for South Fayette. He's just been able to use his size to his advantage, but recently it's been Baldwin being chippy, working with that size, using it against him.
Owen Keener, the son of South Fayette Athletic Director Mark Keener, who is sitting a couple of rows up behind the bench at the very end of the stands, in glasses and a black jacket with jeans as it swung on over to Marzina back up top. 34 seconds and counting. Marzina wants the ISO, one-on-one, defended by Plasko. Gives on over to Golvash. Golvash wants a screen. That'll set up the play. Gets it from Marzina. Golvash steps back, contested shot, left it short. Smolko offensive rebound. Smolko brought the ball down, though. Never want to do that. It's knocked away as Wright takes it. Up the floor to Plasko. Now Feltz in the final 8 seconds. Feltz gives it to Mons. Mons has to go with 3 seconds. Mons turns around, difficult shot, almost banked it in. Wright's shot doesn't go as it was after the buzzer. In a 3-point lead, 14-11. The Fighting Highlanders lead it after 1. Second quarter coming up next on the Baldwin Sports Channel in partnership with TenbandTV.
the heart of Pittsburgh at Mount Washington Shop and Save. At Mount Washington Shop and Save, we're more than just a grocery store. We're your neighborhood destination. From the freshest local produce to gourmet delights, we've got it all under one roof. Experience convenience, quality, and savings all in the heart of Mount Washington. Mount Washington Shop and Save, where Pittsburgh shops with a view. Shop smart, shop local, shop Mount Washington Shop and Save.
Play It Again Sports in Greensburg is your locally owned and operated sporting goods store. We set ourselves apart by offering a wide variety of both new and used equipment at competitive prices. Located in the Greengate East Plaza, below Walmart, Play It Again Sports' knowledgeable staff will help you and your family prepare for every athletic season. Whether you're looking to buy, sell, or trade, we are here as your one-stop shop. At Play It Again Sports in Greensburg, everybody plays.
3-point lead for Baldwin, 14-11 as we start the second quarter of play. Austin Bechtold, Ethan Spazarski alongside us. Sadiq Anderson gets it into Golvash. It's Golvash, Anderson, Smolko, Marzina, and Machurak, the 5 for Baldwin, as they look back door for Marzina, but it's not there, and they swing it over to Machurak, who goes down low to Smolko, defended by Wright, back to Machurak, and they'll reset with Golvash. Man-to-man defense for South Fayette. They swing across court. Machurak inside the paint, almost traveled, and it's rebounded by Wright.
It almost feel like with that travel, he was compelled to take the shot despite not really being in the best position for it. Missed possession for Baldwin.
Bonds for 3. Doesn't go. Offensive rebound, Levisher. Levisher turns around and will reset again with Plasko. Swung across to Mons. Mons gets inside, puts it up, left it short, rebound Smolko. So South Fayette has had some decent looks. After starting off the game very hot, Baldwin has been able to pounce back, and Marzina drives in. Max, with 3 guys there defending him, will go to the free throw line.
Yeah, I mean, Tyson Wright stands there. Really good position for him to be able to get that one away. I mean, nonetheless, Marzina was still going to the line, but Tyson Wright showing off some great height there, not allow the shot to go in.
So they get Braden Plasko for his first, and will send Marzina to the line, where he's 1 of 2 so far. Trey Alario set to check in for the first time for Baldwin. He has started games this year, as Marzina hits the first net with 4 on the night. Alario comes on, and Machurak will go off. And Alario did not play in the matchup against Trinity, was dealing with an injury, as Teo Toole is currently being attended to as well. They are trying to massage his left leg area, right around the calf, as it's Marzina hitting both. Anderson defends on the top of the press. South Fayette is able to break it. Baldwin backed off a little bit. Up top, it's Latoof. Now Plasko, defended well by Golvash. Keener on the perimeter, trying to isolate Wright on the right side block. Now Latoof, pick and roll action with Keener. Latoof goes to the right. Swung across Mons. Mons defended by Alario. Good find down low, and a foul is called as Latoof went up with it. And Anderson and Alario were both there. We'll see who they get on the foul. And it is going to be called on Sadiq Anderson for his first.
You'd hear the slap of the wrist throughout the gymnasium. Just there, Baldwin, good job communicating. Even though the foul was committed, Baldwin was communicating. There wasn't really any reason for anyone not to know where their assignment was on that defensive possession.
Eli Latoof, the lefty, hits it off the back of the rim. Jackson Otto on for the first time for Baldwin, another guy that has seen significant minutes this season, where Baldwin has really played the matchups of who they want out there between Smolko and Otto. And if Smolko's giving him good minutes, it's less playing time for Otto, and vice versa. We've seen both in the starting 5 as both free throws are missed by Latoof. And a good box out to be able to clear room for Marzina, who goes to Alario. Alario, good find. Anderson in the corner, open, and drills it. Sadiq Anderson off to a great start. He's got 8 points, including 2 triples.
He's just one of those players that can play really anywhere you need him and take any different kinds of shot you need, all depending on the situation.
Latoof gives it up to Wright. Wright almost lost it, defended by Otto. Wright tries to spin on Otto, has to back it out to Keener. Keener has a lane. Help over from Otto, who picks up the foul. And it's the first on Jackson Otto, the junior forward, on the hold.
Now things start to, you have to start trying to figure out maybe a way to limit that, free throws. And, because Baldwin, the last 2 possessions, 2 different fouls and allowing now 4 free throws for South Fayette.
So call it a shooting foul, putting Keener to the line. And he hits the first. tied for the team lead with Dylan Mons with 5 points. Only 3 scorers for South Fayette. Keener, Wright, and Mons. Keener missed the second, but an offensive rebound. Called an offensive foul on South Fayette. As they're going to get, I think it was Latouf on the foul. And is it being ruled a foul? It hasn't been reported to the scores table as Dave Mislin's out on the floor trying to figure out what the official call is. And South Fayette elects to call timeout. So, was it indeed a foul? Nothing was reported. So somebody must have been out of bounds when they grabbed the rebound, and it would have been on South Fayette. So that resulting in the ball in possession. It's a 30-second timeout with the Fighting Highlanders up by 7.
Yeah, I mean, now this opens up the door again. It's only a 7-point game, and these two teams pretty close on the totem pole when it comes down to standings in 5A Section 3. Baldwin tied for third right now with Peters Township in regards to section play at 1-1. South Fayette stands at 1-2 in section play. They're pretty much equivalent to where Trinity is overall, but this is still a really tight-knit matchup. You're seeing both sides be able to kind of chip and work back and forth, be able to do pretty much the same thing on each side. And, I mean, you're kind of seeing what was very similar to the first one.
And it was a lane violation that was called. Appreciate one of the officials coming over and explaining what the official call was. A lane violation on the free throw that results in it being Baldwin ball. And how about
you didn't have to come over and do that. That was really nice of him. I was really glad.
Yeah, this is we've actually had this officiating crew frequently over the years. Do a really good job. And it's cool. They know what we do, and they come over, give an explanation if necessary. It's knocked out of bounds as Golvash gets it poked free. We'll stay here at the right side block.
Well, that's good, and that would be able to explain why. I mean, Mislin wasn't upset. He was really confused, but once you explained, he understood why exactly South Fayette wasn't retaining the possession. So it makes sense now. The stories are adding up.
Hey, swinging around to Anderson. Fake it to the corner. And Anderson drives in and goes to Marzina. So it's Golvash, Anderson, Marzina, Otto, and Alario, the 5 for Baldwin. Marzina pushed off, yes. Ruled an offensive foul. First on Max. So Baldwin will deploy the press full court. Marzina is on the ball. And that was one thing that Baldwin changed up, at least at the early portion of this game, which had Marzina on the ball at times. Sometimes it's been Anderson, sometimes it's been Golvash. The key man to go over and force the trap on the press after defending the inbound. It's right up top. Now Keener. Surprised how much they utilize Keener and Wright on the perimeter. As it's Mons giving way to Plasko, who drives in. With a lot of contact, Plasko's able to finish.
Funny enough, there's a lot of contact near the end of that, but Marzina really giving a lot of space when he was towards that right elbow. Really not really a lot of man-on-man kind of defense there, but closed up, but it was a little too late. Then you go see Plasko go down low and get the points.
Alario calling for Golvash to grab the basketball with 3 minutes gone by here in the second quarter. A 19-14 game, low scoring. Golvash drives all the way in, can't finish. Was driving down the floor, and it seems like Baldwin is really upset with Jeff Ackerman wanting an intentional foul there. As the foul goes on Eli Latouf, and really understand why that was the case. A lot of contact with Golvash as he pretty much could have had a breakaway layup.
Well, exactly. It kind of looked like, in football, you have someone near, out of bounds. You someone push them out, potentially if you know you're not going to be able to tackle them. It kind of had the same feel for that. Kind of just a heat-seeking play where Latouf works right over to Golvash. Don't even focus on the ball.
Yeah, when you get that type of push and you're clearly trying to foul, could be called intentional. You don't see it called that often. Mainly when you're right around the basket and just give a big shove to somebody in the back to prevent a layup. Otto swung around to Anderson. Now Golvash comes free. Back to Marzina near the South Fayette bench. Anderson, he's hit a couple of shots in that corner. Looks for Golvash, not there, and it's Marzina having to set up top. 3.5 to go, second quarter. Marzina traveled. So we've seen a couple of turnovers from Max in this game. There's a 3:32 to go. Baldwin's still up by 5.
Larry's also going to need to be careful there because instead of giving the ball off to the ref, took a shot and he walked away, and the ball ended up rolling farther away from the official.
They're going to rule that Latouf, I think, was out of bounds there. So he stepped out right at the bench. So Baldwin takes over after the turnover. Just a unnecessary turnover for South Fayette. As they go into Golvash. Golvash will reset up top. See if he tries to drive and create some space. Golvash kicks it to Marzina. Cross court, Alario, open three, likes that spot, but he can't hit it. Otto able to track down the offensive rebound. Otto will reset with Anderson up top. Jeff Ackerman calls out the play with Otto coming up to set a high screen. Marzina looks, dishes, Otto. Rather, Alario with Otto cutting towards the basket. It's Anderson cutting in, can't finish. Otto fights for the offensive rebound and grabs it. Otto to Golvash. Golvash pulls from three. EJ can't hit. Rebound right. And right skies for it to go up to Latouf. Latouf with Golvash defending. It'll be on the floor on the foul from EJ Golvash, picking up his second. As Golvash just not quick enough to be able to hustle back in time. And now he has two.
On one hand, you got to admire the offensive rebounding ability from this Baldwin team, especially on that sequence, being consistent with all their shots and following through, collecting loose change. But on the other hand, just not being able to get an easy floater right there, especially with Sadiq Anderson, someone who's been really clutch and almost automatic whenever he puts his hands on the ball.
Mons defended by Alario, knocked away by Alario, and into the hands of Otto. Now Golvash. Golvash drives all the way in, turns around, and a foul is called as Golvash was looking for an outlet. And they get the foul on Plasko for his second. So Plasko and Golvash, both juniors, have picked up two fouls. As Machurak comes back on for Baldwin, Golvash will take a seat. And Plasko also to the bench. So both players with the two fouls to the bench. South Fayette brings Alex Deans back in. Here's Anderson. A young lineup for Baldwin. Two seniors out there with Alario and Marzina, but Otto, Anderson, and Machurak, all new varsity players this year. Marzina trying to back down Deans. Goes to Machurak, who pulls for three. Machurak can't hit. Rebound, fought for, and will stay here. It's last touch by Wright. Alario helping to force the possession to stay here.
He's done a really good job being able to be smart and wise down low, especially when fighting with Tyson Wright, who was 3 inches more on his height on him, being able to contest it consistently, give Baldwin a better advantage offensively.
Here's Anderson up top. Inside 2 minutes. Trying to post up. Marzina, double team comes. Marzina plus the foul. What a scoop by Max Marzina. As he goes from block to block and takes the contact to try to capitalize on a three-point play.
Well, we touched on it earlier. Marzina's never been afraid for that. And then the ability to drain so much time off the clock and be able to force the foul, another and-one opportunity for Max Marzina. That reverse layup had just such a great spin on it, too, off the glass.
Christmas theme for the student section. Decked out in some green and red as Marzina. Perfect on the free throw to give him 8. Deans has to run in to grab it, to inbound it. And they get it into Latouf. Now Deans up the floor. Deans gives way to Latouf, who drives all the way in, and he gets fouled on the layup. Latouf to the free throw line to try to capitalize and cut the deficit.
It was a really good job for Latouf, not only to be able to stop and go that quickly, works through some pretty serious contact there from the Baldwin defense and being able to allow themselves to continue to stay really close within this game.
Foul goes on Nolan Machurak as he goes off and Golvash returns. Smolko also set the check back in for Baldwin as they'll send off Jackson Otto. So it's been Smolko playing the favorable amount of minutes in the Smolko-Otto combination. And Latouf capitalizes. Anderson resets. It's Golvash, Alario, Smolko, Marzina, and Anderson. Now Max at the right side elbow. Marzina gives way to Smolko, cutting to the basket.
And you can tell that's exactly how they drew it up and exactly how they wanted to execute that play. Great work by Marzina.
Keener dribbling with it. Keener going all the way in. Keener scoop, doesn't go. Left it short, it's rebounded by Marzina. Marzina with Golvash in transition. Max goes all the way in, falls to the ground, can't finish. Smolko fights for the offensive rebound, but instead it's grabbed by Keener. Marzina a little bit slow to get up and is now holding his backside as they go up the floor to Deans. Deans pulls the trigger for three. Doesn't go. Keener fights for the rebound. It's Alario ripping it away. Alario deflected as they tried to get it. It was right with the deflection. Marzina pulls, but can't hit the three. Rebound fought for, and will go the other way. Last touch by Smolko.
Yeah, much faster paced tempo from what we saw, especially recently, those past few possessions, though. Great work by Baldwin, sticking with it, not allowing any open opportunities for South Fayette, even whenever you're missing offensively.
Deans gets it into Latouf. Latouf with a full head of steam. Latouf bounce pass to right inside the paint. Lefty shot rattles in. Marzina brings it up with 30 seconds. And a 5-point lead. See if Baldwin elects to hold for one. Now Smolko. Swing around Marzina. A lot of movement for Baldwin. It's Alario. Golvash looks inside to Marzina, and they'll reset with Anderson, and now Alario. Anderson in the final 10 seconds. Anderson drives, spins, turns. Anderson can't finish. Rebounded by Wright. No foul called. Keener, full court heave. Left it just a little bit short. And a 26-21 lead for Baldwin. Fighting Highlanders were able to post just 12 points in that second quarter after leading at 14-11, but they do build the lead by 2 more, up by 5 against South Fayette as we have reached the break in the final game before Christmas Day on this Monday, December 22nd, live. Austin Bechtel and Ethan Wazarski on TenbandTV.
Discover the heart of Pittsburgh at Mount Washington Shop and Save. At Mount Washington Shop and Save, we're more than just a grocery store. We're your neighborhood destination. From the freshest local produce to gourmet delights, we've got it all under one roof. Experience convenience, quality, and savings, all in the heart of Mount Washington. Mount Washington Shop and Save, where Pittsburgh shops with a view. Shop smart, shop local, shop Mount Washington Shop and Save.
Play It Again Sports in Greensburg is your locally owned and operated sporting goods store. We set ourselves apart by offering a wide variety of both new and used equipment at competitive prices. Located in the Greengate East Plaza, below Walmart, Play It Again Sports' knowledgeable staff will help you and your family prepare for every athletic season. Whether you're looking to buy, sell, or trade, we are here as your one-stop shop. At Play It Again Sports in Greensburg, everybody plays.
Away from Baldwin with South Fayette attacking the right side basket. As you see it, Austin Bechtel and Ethan Wazarski alongside of the Baldwin Sports Channel as they go down low immediately to Keener, and he's able to score.
Yeah, waste no time.
Golvash. Smolko comes up for the screen. They deliver it. Golvash dribbles into a three. He's got it. EJ Golvash rolls it in for the first point.
Not allow Keener to be able to get open down low.
Blasco easily up the floor. They break the press. And it's Mons driving in. Mons, scoop layup's good. Dylan Mons with 4 points. Marzina looks to isolate. Now O'Toole gets the screen from Marzina. O'Toole has Anderson open in the corner. He'll take the three, and Sadiq got it to go.
That's exactly what you needed.
Sadiq got it to go.
That's exactly what you needed. You saw Baldwin controlled the pace on their sequence.
Off the steal, gets it to go. A 5-point. Golvash just lost the ball as he tried to pass it. Up the floor goes South Fayette. The ball is blocked by Anderson on the shot from Levish. Golvash. Golvash is able to maintain his balance. Spins away from the pressure. Golvash to Anderson. Anderson, baseline bounce pass. Smolko plus the foul. Overall in the game, as they'll bring about 5, maybe 6 off their bench in reserve. As Marzina is able to get a hand on it on the shot from Will Scanlon. And to be able to clear room for Marzina, who goes to Alario. Alario, good find. Anderson in the corner, open and drills it. Sadiq Anderson off to a great start. He's got it. Student section trying to get in it. A fairly quiet crowd tonight as they look down low to Alario, who takes one dribble, tries to get around right and does. Trey Alario with the move to be able to. Now Deans up the floor. Deans gives way to Latouf, who drives all the way in, and he gets fouled on the layup. Smolko, Marzina, and Anderson. Now Max at the right side elbow. Marzina gives way to Smolko, cut into the basket.
And you can tell that's exactly how they drew it up.
Discover the heart of Pittsburgh at Mount Washington Shop and Save. At Mount Washington Shop and Save, we're more than just a grocery store. We're your neighborhood destination. From the freshest local produce to gourmet delights, we've got it all under one roof. Experience convenience, quality, and savings, all in the heart of Mount Washington. Mount Washington Shop and Save, where Pittsburgh shops with a view. Shop smart, shop local, shop Mount Washington Shop and Save.
Play It Again Sports in Greensburg is your locally owned and operated sporting goods store. We set ourselves apart by offering a wide variety of both new and used equipment at competitive prices. Located in the Greengate East Plaza, below Walmart, Play It Again Sports' knowledgeable staff will help you and your family prepare for every athletic season. Whether you're looking to buy, sell, or trade, we are here as your one-stop shop. At Play It Again Sports in Greensburg, everybody plays.
Thank you for calling Penny, PA's health insurance marketplace. How can I help you?
I need help paying my health insurance premiums.
You came to the right place. Penny gets you the lowest costs on high-quality plans.
Enroll now at penny.com, paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Welcome to Temple Strength and Sport Performance, where we empower you to reach new heights in strength, speed, and athletic performance. Temple is here to support you every step of the way. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned athlete, join him in Jefferson Hills, Pennsylvania, and discover the difference. For more information, call 412-527-1755. Start your journey with us today.
Five-point game as we start the second half of play. Austin Bechtold, Ethan Swazarski alongside on the Baldwin Sports Network in partnership with TenbandTV. Max Marzina and Sadiq Anderson leading scorers in the matchup so far, both with 8 points apiece. EJ Golvash added in a 3, but well off his pace so far as Baldwin only put together 26 points.
Exactly, and for Max Marzina, a guy who attempts a lot of shots, and we've seen a fair amount in that first half, averages almost 13, 14 shots a game. For him to have 8 points is really good, especially with the slower bit of a start that we saw with that first quarter. But more importantly for me, the supporting cast and Sadiq Anderson has been the highlight offensively. However, it's been a wave of inconsistency. You saw them miss a lot, make a lot, miss a lot, then finish off on a pretty good high note over there. But lucky for them, it's been the same for South Fayette, especially when you only have 5 guys that have scored thus far and no one's scored more than 6 points. That's working in your favor.
One of the lowest scoring halves of the year for Baldwin, kind of similar to that Mount Lebanon game where they lost 61-51, where that was kind of the other way around, where Mount Lebanon controlled the pace and the tempo of that game throughout. South Fayette did for about the first 5 minutes of this game, but that's when Baldwin really started to turn it on and had a good final 3+ minutes of the first quarter to be able to take a 3-point lead into the second quarter that they were able to build to now 5. And the student section liking what they're seeing against the matchup against a South Fayette team that it's definitely not the same as last year, but still very competitive, and a team that is still trying to figure out what its rotation is going to be, but has some talent.
Exactly. Well, overall, you're seeing they're losing by about 3 points in section competition and 6 overall, while Baldwin's been able to win by 7 points in overall. A 15-point margin is pretty impressive, but South Fayette stood toe-to-toe with Baldwin the entire time, and no doubt they had the better start overall. So just despite the records and a little bit of a difference overall, what we've seen from last year's team, South Fayette has not taken their foot off the gas whatsoever.
Baldwin sends the starting 5 back out there with Golvash, Anderson, Smolko, O'Toole, and Marzina to start. And South Fayette did lose Will Scanlon in that first half due to a really bad injury, as he's now behind the bench sitting with some crutches and was helped over to the locker room during halftime as Bryson Smolko picks up his second foul, immediately defending Keener 9 seconds in.
Yeah, luckily for Baldwin, that ties. There's now 3 guys with 2 fouls, and luckily it spreads the fouls out, as we talked about before, but cannot fall in that trap because foul trouble was a big problem last time out against Peters Township for the Baldwin Fighting Highlanders.
Plasko swings it over to Latouf, who takes it up top. And Latouf defended by Golvash. A lot of movement down low for South Fayette. They'll bring right up to set a screen. As Latouf is able to go all the way in, and the lefty scores past Marzino.
Exactly, and that all starts because Marzina commits to the left, and then Latouf moves right. Easy layup for him.
It's a 3-point game with Anderson. Now Golvash. Screen comes from Smolko. They get the switch with Keener. Golvash now defended by Wright. Golvash trying to get it past Keener. He can't. It is tipped into the hands of the Lions. Mons up the 4. They go to Wright. Wright just tried to do a little touch pass to Plasko. Mons fakes on the 3, drives in, goes to Keener. And Latouf thought about the 3. Probably should have taken it, had the open look, but instead, O'Toole defends him at half court. To the corner in Plasko. Looking down low for Keener, threw it away. Last touch by Marzina, though. Not able to grab it.
Well, down here, you saw Wright realize Smalley was in midair, spinning around, catching it. Pass wasn't intended for him, but luckily for him, he was able to tip it out and get out to his fellow player to continue the offensive push.
O'Toole comes in for Ilario. As Baldwin makes his first substitution with just about a minute gone by, and O'Toole again is trying to be stretched out as he leaves the floor and seems to be hampered in this game. Baldwin has dealt with some injuries this season, as it's Mons with it. And gives it up to Plasko. Now Wright drives in. Wright plus the foul. Tyson Wright with 8 points and a chance for more at the line.
Yeah, I mean, you could tell Wright was just, gnawing at the bit for that one, be able to take that one to the rim. Seen that a few different times that he's been able to force it up there, use his size, his advantage, and then collect an and-one opportunity will be his first and-one opportunity of the game.
There's the first foul on, there's the third foul on Bryson Smolko. As Smolko picks up 2 quick ones here in the third quarter. Wright with a chance to tie the game. As Jackson Otto comes back on for Baldwin. Knotted up at 26. Now here's Anderson. Bouncing it to Ilario. Ilario had Otto streaking towards the basket. He takes it himself, and Ilario gives it to Marzina. Max fading to his left, and that's where the shot went. Anderson tries to poke it away from Keener, but it's out of bounds, off touch by Baldwin.
Yeah, Baldwin just not being able to find any sort of groove. It almost looks like they're just forcing a lot of their shots and their looks. And South Fayette's been really on top of things overall to be able to continue to stick with the pace and be able to control their own tempo.
Into Keener, but out of the trap with Plasko, just dribbling out of it and up the floor. We're talking about Baldwin's depth. It's really been tested as Ilario missed the last game. He's back out there, though. Nico Machurak has missed most of the season with a lingering injury that he has dealt with. No Josh DeRozas on the Baldwin bench as well. As Keener turns around, can't finish. Wright, second chance at it. Wright, third chance at it on the possession. Second chance for him, and he backs it out. Now sets a screen as Plasko drives. And the reset once again with Latoof. Nothing there, back it out, and taking a simplified approach as this has been a half-court game pretty much. Baldwin not able to run in transition very often, and something the team likes to do a lot, get up and run and move with the basketball and create fast break opportunities. South Fayette's done a good job of being able to get back, and that was a key. And South Fayette did say that it wanted to be able to deploy as it's kicked by Otto. And Dave Mislin knows how important it is for Baldwin to get up tempo and move quickly, and in a 26-26 game, it's been mission accomplished so far for the Lions.
Oh my God, yeah, and it makes sense. Dave Mislin, well accomplished coach. He knows exactly what he needs to do to win. Career winning percentage at South Fayette of 58%. He's been able to put a lot of things together, especially the last few years for South Fayette basketball.
They were a 7 seed in last year's playoffs, and a foul is called on Anderson for his first. Lost to Mars. It was South Fayette and Baldwin that both lost in the first round of the playoffs, where Peters Township ended up going all the way to the WPIAL championship game and eventually losing to Chartiers Valley. That was the second foul on Anderson. It's a strong section. That is down just a little bit. That lost a lot of graduating seniors, ton of talent from last year's teams. That's Plasko. Backs it out with Keener. Plasko, a good player, a veteran. Junior has played a lot of minutes for South Fayette, and he's got the basketball again, defended by Anderson. Dealing with the 2 fouls. Gets a screen from Wright. Switch off of it with Ilario. Plasko steps back. Good defense from Ilario to help close out. 4:18 to go. Third quarter. Latoof gives it to Keener. Keener drives in. Otto tries to force the charge. He goes off the back of the rim. Fight for the loose ball is taken by Ilario. Now Golvash in a tie game. Looks for the screen from Otto. He gives it to him. Golvash with the mismatch with Keener. Backs out, and Keener has to come up to the three-point arc. Can Golvash take advantage? EJ will back it out again. Marzina comes over for the screen. Keener still defends. Golvash looks at the corner and Anderson. Anderson, good move, drives in, floater, can't spin it in, and it's rebounded by Wright. Quickly up the floor goes Mons. Some contact there as it goes to Plasko. Low-scoring, physical game between these two teams. It's been who can win in the half-court set. And you just feel like Baldwin at some point is going to pull away as Anderson gets poked in the eye. I think it was an elbow, actually, that hit him on his nose and got up in his face as the elbow on Latoof results in his second foul.
Well, it looked like it more or less was on the lip, too, because you saw Anderson go to the jersey right to his lip. I mean, physicality is the most key adjective between these two teams. They force the contact, they work on each other, and they embrace it. These are two physical teams as well that are very competitive.
Just the first foul called against South Fayette in the quarter, and they get another foul called on the inbound attempt. as they're going to call it on Latouf again. So Latouf picks up back-to-back fouls, and he'll go off to the bench. I think, as Anderson is being looked at here, that was a technical foul called against Latouf for his third, and Latouf goes over to the bench after the technical. So Trey Alario, the one elected to shoot the 2 free throws, and he misses the first.
And immediately, as soon as he gets over there, it's Mislin right there talking to him, not yelling, more or less coaching, trying to figure out what occurred and trying to figure out and fix some things.
And Alario able to bounce in the second, a little bit fortunate there. But you can also see Tay O'Toole in the middle of the screen there, now just getting up at the very end of the Baldwin bench, who is really trying to fight through something.
Looks like he got a heated Ragger compress he was able to put out on top of his calf.
I think it's either his calf or his knee. We're kind of looking at both as Anderson loses the ball out of bounds. Just a frustrating offensive day for Baldwin. That free throw that Alario made, the only point in the third quarter so far. So Baldwin was really cold in the second quarter against Trinity before an offensive barrage in the third quarter. This time is the third quarter that Baldwin's offense has stalled out, being outscored by South Fayette in the quarter 5-1. And they're set to bring O'Toole back in. 3-point ball up and in for Jackson Otto. Or rather, Mons, I should say. Otto was defending, and Mons is able to give South Fayette the lead. Govash on the other end scores.
Really good complimentary basketball, and now will be able to complete a 3-point play. Nonetheless, the game remains tied, but you talked about it, only 1 point up until a AJ Govash bucket, and now you'll see Tay O'Toole come back in. Looks like whatever it is, the knee or calf is back to at least able to be played upon, because Baldwin cannot be affording any more losses to their depth with injury.
And foul goes on Feltz for his first. As Govash, only his second bucket of the game, now has 6. And gives Baldwin the lead back.
Nice thing is, too, it doesn't always mean you need to score the most points to be involved.
Good job by Otto to be able to knock it away from Wright, who would have had potentially an uncontested layup.
Yeah, Feltz put a lot of that one up in the air. Not really more accurate. Had a lot of height on it. Luckily, great work by Otto to work up quickly. Smack it out of the air.
Blasco throws it in. Alario defending Wright, plus the foul again for Tyson Wright. Second 3-point play opportunity of the quarter for Wright.
Yeah, his first basket he made was that, and he was able to complete the N1. Looks to do it again here. Get 12 points for him on the night. By far the leading scorer here for South Fayette.
And the foul goes on O'Toole for his first. It's the 4th against Baldwin in the quarter. As Tyson Wright is 1 of 1 at the line. 2 of 2. It's a 2-point lead for the Lions. Deans picks up Govash. And Govash gets a screen from Otto. Govash still going. Gets tripped up.
Tell you what, EJ Govash just looks like he's an extra step behind him tonight speed-wise. He's flown all over, and to be able to dribble and continue to push along with that, it's quite commendable.
Third foul called on Blasco. And they're going to move the ball to be inbounded on the baseline. Trying to figure out who the foul was called. It was called on Blasco for his third. Dave Mislin's trying to claim that the foul was called on Wright. Try to get it changed, as that's the third on Blasco. And it's deflected by Deans right to Marzina. Marzina gives way to Alario. Deep 3, left it short. Rebound, Alario gets his own miss. Pulls up right inside the foul line, and he hits it off the back of the rim. Alario a third opportunity at it, and they'll reset with Marzina. Marzina has a lane, drives in, dishes. Alario up top, has O'Toole open. Doesn't go that way, and instead Alario drives in, layup, will go to the line.
I think what works really well for Alario there is not only you miss both, but you're able to rebound them and give your team another chance and sustain a possession. Key important. Now you get to go to the line and tie it up here with the South Fayette team that defensively has been able to make a few good adjustments.
And it's the second foul on Owen Keener in the game. First one good for Alario. Now Alario with a chance to tie it up at 32. But it rolls out, rebounded by Wright. Try to set up Plasko right near the bench and set up a play. With the ball in the hands of Mons. They give it to Plasko, who flashes to the left side elbow and pulls up for three. Misses from the wing, and it's O'Toole, who goes over to Ilario, who brings it up. Ilario with Baldwin down by one to Marzina. Marzina drives in, looks for a lane. Swings it to O'Toole. Ilario has a straight on three. He's got it! Money ball, Trey Ilario, when they needed it. Ilario provided it to give Baldwin a 2-point lead.
You can tell that's exactly what Ilario needed. He's the three-point guy.
Otto forces a steal. And a timeout called by Baldwin. First charge timeout of the game for Jeff Ackerman. It's a 30-second timeout. Good pressure on the double team from Jackson Otto. He had the deflection, and he grabs the basketball, and Ackerman just wants to reset, slow everybody down a little bit in the final 1:19 of the third.
And that ties back into controlling the pace and whether you have to stop some time here or gain on some game clock to be able to do so. That's important. But rebounding has been a high note and the most consistent thing Baldwin's been able to do. And more importantly, Ilario from three. He's comfortable in the wing position, and he's able to take it. Really good job there to get the three, and now allow Baldwin to get the ball back and extend it. Already a nice 2-point lead.
But regarding the pace of this game, you make a good point of that. It is definitely played in South Fayette's hands, where South Fayette wants to play a half-court offense, not allow Baldwin a lot of opportunities in space and in transition. And they've done a really good job, just like the first game that was played at South Fayette last year, of being able to control it, do well inside the paint, not give Baldwin a lot of opportunities, and contest a ton of shots.
Exactly, and I mean, and that includes that South Fayette's been able to run at their pace up and down the court, especially in transition, like you just mentioned. But for Baldwin now, it's how can you retake that, because they've had that opportunity. South Fayette has a few long possessions, kind of having the identity we've seen with Baldwin. Now can Baldwin be able to take that back and control their tempo, because they were a slower-paced team. They like to take their time, be methodical.
Sadiq Anderson back in for Baldwin. Inbounded the basketball as he was elbowed in the face earlier, ended up contacting his nose. He has currently something in his nose to prevent the bleeding from continuing as Anderson gives way, but a foul is called as O'Toole was contacted inside the paint. And that is now 6 fouls in the quarter on South Fayette. So free throws upcoming for Baldwin. And as it goes on, Mons for his second. And who's going to shoot the free throws? It will be Tay O'Toole, looking for his first points. O'Toole has been a spark plug for Baldwin off the bench, inserted into the starting lineup tonight. He can't hit the first. And free throws continue to be an issue this season for Baldwin.
Immense inconsistency at the free throw line. I mean, average, you'd have to say about 50% overall from team. And it's unfortunately, it's just not going to be enough, especially in these close, tight-knit games.
Not having the number in front of me, I'd say it's probably right around 55 to 60 range as O'Toole was able to make the second. A ton have been left out there, especially in that Peters Township game.
And that was the difference maker, too, if you think about it.
Yeah, it was all free throws. And what was an 11-point deficit that they were able to make up. Not able to win it, though, in overtime against Peters last week as Mons steps on the baseline.
Really good job by Baldwin, too, to force contact down at the baseline and not get caught with any fouls or, being too physical. Allow your body and the positioning to do all the work and allow yourself to get the possession. Now go down and score and extend off a 3-point lead.
Now, O'Toole goes back off, and John Stone immediately sends him back down to the trainer to try to get stretched out again. He has a massage gun that he continues to work on his upper left leg. There's Ilario looking for Marzina in the post. Defended by Deans. Marzina steps back. Difficult shot, and it goes off the side of the backboard. Final 20 seconds and counting of the third. With South Fayette looking for just one shot. Keener on the perimeter. Goes back to Mons. Dylan Mons with 8 seconds. Defended by Golvash. Mons gets a screen from Keener. Mons defended by Ilario. Mons with 2 seconds. Mons has to pull. Doesn't even get a shot off. Good defensive possession from Baldwin. 35 to 32. Up by 3 as we end the third and go to the fourth quarter on the Baldwin Sports Channel.
Discover the heart of Pittsburgh at Mount Washington Shop and Save. At Mount Washington Shop and Save, we're more than just a grocery store. We're your neighborhood destination. From the freshest local produce to gourmet delights, we've got it all under one roof. Experience convenience, quality, and savings, all in the heart of Mount Washington. Mount Washington Shop and Save, where Pittsburgh shops with a view. Shop smart, shop local, shop Mount Washington Shop and Save.
(35-32). Baldwin looking to prevent an upset against South Fayette as the Lions are 2-5 and they're 1-2 in section play. Their lone section victory came against Bethel Park, 60-49. It's a down program right now for Bethel, who's seen better days in that victory at Bethel Park. But South Fayette's losses this year have come to Cannon-Mac at home, Franklin Regional 62-48. Also 54-42 against Pine Richland, an up-and-down team. They beat Seneca Valley on the road 27-26 in overtime. 27-26. At first glance, I thought that was the football score.
Yeah, that's what I said when I was doing the preparation for that one. You see that low-scoring game, but that's the key thing to note is we're seeing a similar trend here. South Fayette's been able to keep low-scoring games in their favor. See how they do tonight.
Drives in, they go to Olario. Goldbash almost traveled. And now the reset with Anderson. They lost to Avonworth 43-41, a team that Baldwin beat earlier this year on December 12th, 56-28. As Goldbash inside the paint, around Keener, he scores.
Really good work, kind of doing what Tyson Wright did early on, be able to hold on to the ball down low and do a really good job positioning himself for an easy shot.
Marzina with the steal. Marzina, bounce pass, Anderson layup, good. First points for Sadiq in the second half. He now has 10. Baldwin has built up the lead. It's back-to-back buckets as Goldbash is able to force another steal. But it's Keener picking it up, and a timeout is called by South Fayette as Keener was bringing it up the floor, and everyone from the bench comes and helps up Sadiq Anderson.
Well, they've got to be a little bit more careful. Marzina had a great one-handed interception at the timeline. However, that bounce pass had a lot of heat on that one. But great work by Anderson to slow it down, working at his pace, which is what we talk about. Baldwin needs to be able to do more. They do that. Now they have a 7-point lead.
Yeah, they built it up to 7. And we talked about that Avonworth game. Baldwin blew out Avonworth, where they were still trying to get their legs under them from coming back from winning a football state championship. But that game that was played at LaRoche ended up being a 2-point loss for South Fayette. Avonworth winning it. You kind of expected this to be Baldwin putting up a lot more points than they have right now at 39, but it's just the way that South Fayette has been a bad matchup for Baldwin over recent years in these types of games. Last year, blowing out South Fayette on the home floor. This year, a little bit of a different story.
Well, and they had the same way with Peters, except it was more of a start, not the finish how Baldwin had against Peters. It took a while for the offense to get clicking. And again, we also got to remember, there is no Nate Westling on this floor anymore. There isn't a Westling period on the floor anymore. Someone who's really a game changer and a game takeover type player for this boys team for the first time in a good 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, and Marzina is capable of it. Same thing with Goldbash. Goldbash just 3 points in that first half. Marzina has not scored in the second half. As Levisher gives it to Keener. Keener drives past Delario. They dish to the corner and Deans. Now Mons. Swung around to Levisher. Levisher hasn't played much this game. It's Wright, defended by Otto. Wright tries to get around him. The lefty Wright gives to the corner and Deans, who gets a screen from Wright. They get the switch. It's Goldbash defending Wright now. Levisher down low. Wright. Back to Otto on him. Wright, layup, good. He's able to bounce it in off a couple of hops. 14 points for Tyson Wright. He leads all scorers.
The unfortunate part is for Tyson Wright, he was faced with a quick matchup, and where Jackson Otto is only 2-inch difference. It's probably going to be the closest matchup he has with Baldwin, an 80 defender there, but just Wright's ability to be so athletic, especially being so composed in the air, to be able to get an easy layup.
5-point lead for Baldwin. Marzina's shot will not count as it's on the floor. And a hand check that is called against South Fayette, and they get Jake Levisher for his first. It's the first on South Fayette in the quarter, as they take Levisher now off the floor. Quick inbounds to Marzina. Can't hit it, though. It's tipped back out towards half court, and it's Wright moving up with it. Wright, layup. Now 16. And it's a three-point game.
You kind of tell Ilario kind of pulled off last minute. I think he didn't really want to create any contact, allow Wright to be able to go up for an and one, and trust his offense to be able to go down and try to extend the lead and not allow South Fayette to cut away at it.
And South Fayette outscored Baldwin in that third quarter. That's the first time that's happened in this game. As Goldvash drives all the way in, right hand, left side. Can't spin it in, though. It's rebounded by Keener. South Fayette a chance to tie on this possession.
That ball did everything but just rolled literally an inch to the right.
And now Goldvash on the other end. Maybe a frustration foul as he's trying to catch up with Mons, and he picks up his third. So Baldwin will send Tay O'Toole back out onto the floor as Ilario comes off. So it's O'Toole, Anderson, Marzinas, Otto, and Goldvash. You're seeing a lot of Otto in the second half with Smolko on the bench with 3 fouls. And they get it into Wright. Now Mons as they're trying to set up Deans on the right side right near the bench to set up a play to try to get the ball in the hands of Plasko, which they do. Up for 3. Plasko can't tie it, and it's rebounded by Anderson.
You know what will come in handy right now is a lengthy Baldwin possession, what they've been able to do early on. Even if you don't score or get maybe a high-point shot with a three-point attempt, just being able to take a lot of this time off the clock.
Here's Otto up top. Now O'Toole back to Marzina. Or at the WPIAL 7 logo. It's Anderson. Otto has the shot if he wants to take it. He doesn't. Plasko fell down on his way to try to defend whoever he was going after. It's O'Toole who can't hit the 3. Rebound by Otto, though. Offensive board. Marzina swings to the corner. Open man is O'Toole. O'Toole falls to the ground. A lot of contact. No foul called, though, and O'Toole is fortunately able to pop back up quickly. Down low to Wright, and the foul is called on the floor. Or I think it's actually, it's going to be a timeout called against South Fayette. And it's a full timeout taken by the Lions. 4:25 remaining in this fourth quarter, and maybe a lot closer of a game than people expected, but I was talking to Coach Mislin before the game and said to him, look, I honestly have no idea what to expect in this game, and he was just trying to play a lot of guys and see what the rotation was going to look like. Jeff Ackerman has his hands full right now, 2 well-coached teams that are batting it out to the end.
Well, exactly. This is it's basically a division game. It's an in-section game. Rivalries tend to be a lot more closer, especially with teams you play more often. They'll play South Fayette one more time before this season's over, and that's not including if everything lines up in the postseason. But for Baldwin overall, last season they scored only 99 total points against the South Fayette team, averaging just 49.5 points per game, which with the way things are going, they could fall short of that margin. But the big thing is South Fayette only scored 68 total points last year against this Baldwin team with 34, which they're already over that mark, but they're still pretty close to it. Back and forth action. This is exactly what should have been expected by anyone who's able to look at the statistics and realize these are 2 well-coached teams and well-matched-up teams.
This one of 2 games taking place in section play tonight. Ringgold at Thomas Jefferson also going on, and Ringgold off to a solid start to the season as well at 6-1 and 2-0, undefeated. Ringgold and TJ, the only undefeated teams in section play.
Yeah, that's literally 1A, 1B right now between those 2 teams. It's a really good matchup going on over there.
Yeah, Ringgold much improved from a year ago where Baldwin won both matchups pretty handily. As Plasko has it up top. Now Mons. So South Fayette has played a ton of guys tonight, but they have defaulted back to a lot of the veterans that they've had, at least in terms of total minutes, as they go down low to Keener. Keener with 3 guys around him, turns around, can't finish, and it's rebounded by Baldwin, and actually out of bounds, and Keener just cannot believe it. And he looks over to the bench, and Mislin tells him just not say anything about it, but I understand what he's saying. I'm very surprised they're calling that Baldwin ball.
Well, we talked about the depth that, South Fayette's been able to use all year. They only have 1 guy that scored so far in the fourth quarter in Tyson Wright, and 3 guys have scored in the second half as a whole. However, Baldwin's kind of in the same boat with only 4.
And they give to Ilario. Swing around Goldvash and back up top to Otto. Marzina's in the corner. Marzina and Goldvash are barely coming out of this game. I don't even think Marzina has. If it was for a very brief moment. As Ilario goes back to Anderson and they weave with it. A lot of movement inside the paint. inside the arc. It's Anderson on the perimeter. Alario has a lane. Alario takes it, looks, turns, tries to find space. He creates it, but he misses it off the back of the rim, and Keener grabs the miss.
He cuts through two different South Fayette defenders, creates his own opportunity, and just too much on it, way too close.
Back to Plasko. Looking for Keener. I'm trying to isolate him against Alario. It's right up top. Plasko defended by Otto. Plasko drives all the way in. Right hand. He got it to go. Plasko gets it to drop just his fourth bucket, but it cuts it to 1. Marzina gets the screen from Otto. They get the switch with Keener, and it's a moving screen called on Jackson Otto. Pretty clear and evident that that was the case, as Otto just continued to move and drift and to not stay in place.
It's not the first time. He's lucky he was able to only have to be called with that one. Very aggressive and quick to be able to move in transition there, trying to set the screen, but fortunately just too much of a shove on that one. He wasn't able to plant his feet.
Under 3 minutes to go. Here's Wright. Wright drives. Wright puts it up. Left it short. Second chance at it for Wright. It's tipped by Marzina. Who's got it? It's last touch by Baldwin, and will stay here. As E.J. Golvash was already streaking down the court, looking for a potential outlet as he tried to just push it up the floor to himself. And it will be inbounded by Deans. Deans gets it into Plasko in the backcourt. Marzina defends him. The final 2.5. Plasko lost it on the crossover. Almost threw it out of bounds. It's Mons with it by the bench. Screen from Wright. Goes the opposite way of it. Mons spins, turns for the lead. It's blocked by Anderson. Anderson up the floor with Otto and Marzina. Max drives, dishes, and a foul called. As Alario made the three, doesn't matter. It's a foul on the floor that goes against Dylan Mons, and it's his third.
It's kind of one of those situations where the contact was created, and it's just very unfortunate that Alario's three was able to go in. But more importantly, Baldwin's been able to create and stop at their own tempo. They're able to extend. They still have the lead. Still got to be smart, though.
Alario into Marzina. His three-pointer. High arcing shot. Misses. Anderson tried to tip it back over towards him, and it's rebounded by Keener as he corrals it around the arc. Now Mons with South Fayette having a chance to take the lead. Defended by Anderson. Here's Plasko. Otto with the task to guard him. Marzina against Keener. Keener drives in. Keener layup. Another missed shot. Wright tries to deflect it and does to the streaking Mons, who hits. Now with 10 points, and South Fayette takes a 1-point lead. Baldwin still has 4 timeouts. 1:24 to go. Otto comes up for the screen and this time stays stationary with Marzina having the basketball. They can't switch off of it, though, with Plasko. Marzina dribbles into a three. Too strong. Rebound. Fought for, and Deans is out of bounds. It will stay here. He tried to call timeout as he was on the floor. They do have 2 remaining.
Good work, though, by Golvash not to be over-aggressive there to cause any problems. He was able to stay composed and realize exactly where everyone was on the floor. Seeing Deans was out of bounds.
Alario has it. They get it into Marzina in the corner on the right side. Plasko almost elbowed him. Marzina drives in. Baldwin trails by 1. It's Anderson. Looking for Golvash, who goes back door. Golvash drives in. Golvash way too strong, and it's rebounded by Wright. Wright rips it down as we're inside a minute. Baldwin trails by 1. Who could have saw this coming? As South Fayette can just continue to try to burn some clock. Baldwin has to try to force a steal, and a timeout is called by South Fayette. 51.6 remaining. And Baldwin has just been asleep tonight offensively. As in the second half, they've only scored 13 points. Completely have gone silent. In this quarter, just 4 in 7 minutes plus.
I mean, South Fayette's only scored 19, too, and they're outscoring Baldwin by 6 there. But still, with such a low-scoring affair and the ability to have such a sustaining offense, I mean, just score 64.5 points per night in section through your first three section matchups. So, I mean, or rather 2, but still, Baldwin's offense, 2 of the last 3 games has really been not able to be consistent. You talked about it, first Trinity, with the second quarter really being kind of lackluster offensively as well. Baldwin needs to find some answers, and they need to find them quick, and they have under a minute to do so.
Yeah, you wonder if they taking South Fayette, who is 2-5 on the record sheet, lightly because they're still a team that is competitive, has some players, and has given you fits over the years. And, man, it just seems like Baldwin tonight it's been really flat the entire night.
Well, and a lot of it is because they're almost overcompensating on all their shots. I mean, we've seen it twice here between Golvash and Marzina. The shots they're putting up, there's too much on them. They're putting too much or not managing really where they are on the floor and what they need to put behind it. And, I mean, it's kind of silly to hear make your shots is the key to win the game, but it's true, especially in this clutch time. And I'll come to say it again. We talked about earlier, they've missed, so far, 4 free throws tonight. That literally gives you a 1-possession lead over South Fayette.
So Keener to inbound. And they do get it into right. And at this point, who do you want to foul? The center of the free throw line if you can't force the steal. Anderson trying to poke it loose from Mons, and there's the foul with Mons. Baldwin still has a couple to give. That's only the third in the quarter with 42.9 left. It's called on Sadiq Anderson for his third. So Anderson with 3, Golvash with 3. Smolko, who we've not seen much in the second half, he has 3 as well, and it's still on the bench.
The only other thing working for you was South Fayette from the free throw line. They equally have been struggling. However, that was primarily in that first half.
Anderson is able to force the steal. Do they get the timeout off? And they rule that it is out of bounds, staying with South Fayette. As Anderson took a hard fall and comes up limping a little bit and just trying to walk it off. As Golvash will defend the ball, Deans will throw it in, and they get it into Keener. With Golvash trying to foul him. South Fayette looking for an intentional foul. They get Golvash for now his 4th. And Keener pretty much had an open lane to the basket. 32.6 remaining. That is the 4th foul. Next one will put South Fayette at the line. And again, who do you want to foul? There's Keener. Does Ilario elect to foul him? They're going to let Keener go all the way in and give to right. Got to foul somebody as Plasko has the ball. You don't want to foul him as Anderson's trying to force a steal, and that's who they foul. So Plasko has not been to the free throw line yet. But a good shooter. Sadiq Anderson is his 4th. 23.9 still to go. Baldwin still has 4 timeouts. So 2 shots for Plasko. It'd be huge if he could hit at least 1 of 2 for South Fayette. As Smolko will come in to try to rebound the basketball as Plasko misses the first. So Smolko comes on, they'll take Otto out. So it's Golvash, Marzina, Smolko, Anderson, and Ilario. They don't put Ilario in on the block. It's Marzina instead to try to box out Keener with Golvash. So interesting decision there is they're going to allow Max, the senior, to try to grab it if there's a miss from Plasko, but he hits it. It's a 2-point game. Golvash will inbound, and South Fayette picks up full court as they go into Anderson. Anderson with 22 seconds. We'll see if Jeff Ackerman does elect to use a timeout, and he's signaling for it. He's on the court. Nobody sees him, and he's 5 feet on, electing the timeout. 17.4 left. You wonder how they don't see him on the floor. I mean, he's literally in a position to potentially shoot the ball if they give it to him.
It almost seemed like a whole 2 seconds passed. I mean, he called timeout. All right, timeout, and then but no one really was granting it. Now he gets the full timeout available to him, but that's just, you got to wonder for Baldwin here, what do you do in this possession? Do you try to hold and elect for the best shot possible? You take what's given to you at any given time? Because South Fayette showed they were playing keep away. They were not intent on scoring. They were content with taking a lot of time off the clock. You saw it because Tyson Wright had an open lane when he collects the ball, rather, and he instead just stands in the wing, being casually just taking his time. But overall, now Baldwin hits hit with a lot of questions, and you got to wonder what you need to do. But there's one thing you know you need to do, and that's make a basket.
Marzina has not scored in this second half with 8 points, only 2 field goals. One was an and one. The first was a bucket that came very, very early on in the game. He's made 4 of 5 at the free throw line. Golvash only with 8 on the night. The leading scorer is Sadiq Anderson. So Baldwin has the possession. The ball will be inbounded on the sideline closest to us. If you have an open 3, take it, but ideally try to get a 2 and tie this game and force South Fayette to make a game-winning shot. So it's Anderson, Golvash, Smolko, Ilario, and Marzina, the 5 for Baldwin. As Otto and O'Toole are on the bench. So Golvash gets it in, and it's picked up by Anderson in the backcourt. Here we go with 15 seconds. They get a screen for Marzina. Marzina gets fouled, and that's just the third on South Fayette in the quarter. And they get Plasko for now his fourth. And Jeff Ackerman elects to use another timeout. So I guess this is why I kept them for the end, to be able to utilize them at the very end to get up a good shot, see what play they draw up. It'll be inbounded pretty much at the same exact spot. With 11.6 left, it's a full timeout.
Now, I mean, the roles have kind of reversed. You saw Baldwin content with forcing fouls and forcing free throws. However, for South Fayette, you're only up 2. I mean, at the same point, you don't want him to take all the time away, but the other side of it, if you allow him to go to the line, he allow him to go in and potentially even go in and tie the game. Now, luckily for South Fayette, what's working kind of similar to Baldwin, or from Baldwin's side of things, is the free throw line has not been their friend. 4 missed free throws tonight on almost like what could be, what looks like be 8 or 9 attempts overall tonight. So there's just a lot of game planning and scheming. But for Baldwin, there's one thing is clear. You got to take as much time off this clock while being able to go in and make a basket. But again, I'm kind of in the mindset of you can force overtime because this game is winnable. Like with Peters, it's not like Baldwin's been outplayed the entire time. The biggest thing has been Baldwin letting South Fayette control the tempo of the game. But when Baldwin's had control, they've looked really good. So go for the tie rather than not be able to give yourself a chance to win later instead of taking an errant 3.
Yeah, they've really let South Fayette hang around in this game. You know what happens if you let somebody hang around? They could just come out and immediately snatch it from you. As this is the fewest amount of points that Baldwin has scored this season by far, 39. Previous low was 51. Can they score on this possession? As Alario gets it into Anderson again, and they go with 10. Looking for Marzina. And Ackerman again calls timeout as they just cannot find the set that they want. And if you're South Fayette, you have to love the way that they're defending off the inbound, not allowing Marzina or Golvash to catch it.
And more importantly, there's not really a lot you have to change if you're South Fayette because clearly it's working for you. You know exactly what you have to do, and now they're going to have a full timeout length to be able to do so and make sure if they do have to readjust something, they can. But I mean, Baldwin needs to be able to find something, and you're not going to get exactly what you want. South Fayette's shown that now twice in the last 2 inbounds. They're going to stick strong with you, so work around with what you've been able to see over the last 7 seconds of time that's elapsed between the 2 timeouts.
South Fayette does still have 1 foul to give as well. But those last 2 sets out of the timeout, they've not even been able to get anything close to a good look.
No, they've had to go to Sadiq Anderson at the timeline twice because South Fayette's content with allowing you to have to force and pass the ball in the timeline. They are sticking strictly down low where Baldwin wants to go, forcing Baldwin to have to shoot a 3. And with the Baldwin team that from 3-point tonight range hasn't looked really good, or at least consistent in that matter, got to wonder, they're going to have to force Baldwin to shoot a 3.
So the ball will now be inbounded right near the Baldwin bench. Same 5, Alario, Golvash, Smolko, Anderson, and Marzina. South Fayette will bring out Keener, Plasko, Mons, Deans, and Wright. Alario will throw it in. Into Marzina. To Alario. Alario looking for Marzina. Marzina grabs it. And Jeff Ackerman is not able to call timeout in time. Marzina stepped out of bounds with 3 seconds left. Oh, what a disastrous possession for Baldwin. 3 chances, 3 timeouts, and nothing showing for it.
It's unfortunate. If there was some sort of video review, you'd be able to look and see. It was incredibly close. However, again, just South Fayette, all the credit in the world to be able to stick that well put together on a press and not allow any space.
Now you got to immediately foul, and Alario does with Keener. Just 0.7 comes off the clock. So you have 1 timeout left. Keener has a chance for 2 free throws. They'll bring Smolko back in, but this is a huge wasted opportunity for Baldwin if they're not able to grab this game. A game that they had really not really in hand, but
they were ahead of.
One that they should have been able to close out. Against a South Fayette team that has given you fits, Keener makes the first.
If Keener makes this second free throw, it's almost
all
all
but
over. There's just no real way.
Yeah, there's no chance. As Ackerman elects to use the timeout now.
And again, South Fayette came into it with you had 5 guys score in the first half. And here in the second half, you've had another 5 guys only score. So for as much depth as they use, only having 5 scores in each half, with the same 5 guys being the ones to score, it opens a lot of questions for Baldwin. What do you do when you go into the film room and find out what you fix? And I mean, I think when you have to look at it, it all starts with free throws, and it's kind of silly to have to come back to it, but Baldwin down 3 and now potentially even 4, but that's how many free throws you missed. And
yeah, I mean,
you're in that position.
Well, we've harped on free throws a lot, and for good reason. But this is a game where they just have not been aggressive enough on offense and have not been able to find good enough looks down low to be able to attack. And sure, that is because you have a 6'4" and a 6'5" guy down there, but there have not been a lot of looks. Marzina can't go the whole second half and not score. It's a part of it, as Keener makes them both, and that'll do it. As Marzina will just take the basketball and try to attack on some stats. The 43-39, South Fayette pulls off a stunning road section victory, and it's a huge damper on Baldwin's section championship hopes. After breaking a 39-year drought of a section title a year ago, Baldwin is now 1-2 in section play. They lost just one section game all of last year, and it was to this South Fayette team on the road. They've lost 2, and they've both been at home to Peters and South Fayette, and they haven't even played TJ yet.
There's a lot to be worked on, and the answers seem to be pretty simple for Baldwin on what you need to do in adjustments. And again, there were at least 4 or 5 different times where you saw Baldwin be able to get ahead and have a 4 to 5 point lead on a few different occasions, but South Fayette's defense and ability to adapt on the fly in the game really helped for them, on top of a few other minute details. So the boys team going to have a lot to look forward to and a lot to fix before their next game out, especially when the tougher competition's on its way.
Yeah, I mean, coming up next for Baldwin, you have McDowell in the West Allegheny tournament, and they're never an easy matchup. A team we saw a couple years ago when Baldwin was in the state playoffs here, and McDowell beat them. Then they're at West Allegheny. That's in the West Allegheny tournament, so it's a real home game in a tournament. Then at Uniontown, always a difficult non-conference game, followed by Ringgold, who's hot this year, on the road before returning back home against Bethel Park, our next doubleheader night on January 9th. And then it's TJ on the road at TJ on January 13th. Final score, 43-39. Baldwin girls victorious against Albert Gallatin, but the boys fall by 4 to South Fayette in a surprising game as Baldwin goes into the Christmas break at 4-3 overall and 1-2. We're not in 24-25 anymore, Spazarski.
Wow,
a lot of
how
things
time
to fix.
flies.
There's
Exactly.
a lot of things to fix for Baldwin moving forward. Final score once again, 43-39. South Fayette wins it. For Ethan Spazarski and our entire TenbandTV crew, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We'll talk to you in 2026. Austin Bechtold signing off here on the Baldwin Sports Channel.
Discover the heart of Pittsburgh at Mount Washington Shop and Save. At Mount Washington Shop and Save, we're more than just a grocery store. We're your neighborhood destination. From the freshest local produce to gourmet delights, we've got it all under one roof. Experience convenience, quality, and savings, all in the heart of Mount Washington. Mount Washington Shop and Save, where Pittsburgh shops with a view. Shop smart, shop local, shop Mount Washington Shop and Save.
Away from Baldwin with South Fayette attacking the right side basket. As you see it, Austin Bechtold and Nathan Spazarski alongside of the Baldwin Sports Channel as they go down low immediately to Keener, and he's able to score.
Yeah, we snowed Sean.
Golvash. Smolko comes up for the screen. They deliver it. Golvash dribbles into a 3. He's got it. EJ Golvash rolls it in for the first point.
Not allow Keener to be able to get open down low.
Blasco easily up the floor. They break the press. And it's Mons driving in. Mons, scoop layup's good. Dylan Mons with 4 points. Marzina looks to isolate. Now O'Toole get the screen from Marzina. O'Toole has Anderson open in the corner. He'll take the 3, and Sadiq got it to go.
That's exactly what you knew.
Sadiq got it to go.
That's exactly what you knew. You saw Baldwin controlled the pace on their
Anderson
sequence.
off the steal, gets it to go. A 5-point Golvash. Just lost the ball as he tried to pass it. Up the floor goes South Fayette, and the ball is blocked by Anderson on the shot from Levish. Golvash. Golvash is able to maintain his balance. Spins away from the pressure. Golvash to Anderson. Anderson, baseline bounce pass. Smolko plus the foul. Overall in the game, as they'll bring about 5, maybe 6 off their bench in reserve. As Marzina is able to get a hand on it on the shot from Will Scanlon. And to be able to clear room for Marzina, who goes to Alario. Alario, good find. Anderson in the corner, open and drills it. Sadiq Anderson off to a great start. He's got it. Student section trying to get in it. A fairly quiet crowd tonight as they look down low to Alario, who takes one dribble, tries to get around right and does. Trey Alario with the move to be able to. Now Deans up the floor. Deans gives way to Latouf, who drives all the way in, and he gets fouled on the layup. Smolko, Marzina, and Anderson. Now Max at the right side elbow. Marzina gives way to Smolko, cut into the basket.
And you can tell that's exactly how they drew it up.
And Latouf defended by Golvash. A lot of movement down low for South Fayette. They'll bring right up to set a screen. As Latouf is able to go all the way in, and the lefty scores past Marzina.
Exactly, and I mean,
being outscored by South Fayette in the quarter 5-1. And they're set to bring O'Toole back in. 3-point ball up and in for Jackson Otto. Or rather, Mons, I should say. Otto was defending, and Mons is able to give South Fayette the lead. Golvash on the other end scores. Marzina drives in, looks for a lane. Swing it to O'Toole. Alario has a straight on 3. He's got it. Money ball, Trey Alario when they needed it. Earlier this year on December 12th, 56-28. As Golvash inside the paint. Around Keener, he scores.
Be able to hold on to the ball down low and do a really good job positioning himself for an easy shot.
Marzina with the steal. Marzina, bounce pass. Anderson layup, good. First points for Sadiq in the second. It's right up top. Plasko defended by Otto. Plasko drives all the way in. Right hand, he got it to go. Plasko gets it to drop. Just Marzina against Keener. Keener drives in. Keener layup. Another missed shot. Wright tries to deflect it and does to the streaking Mons, who hits now with 10 points. On the road at TJ on January 13th. Final score 43-39. Baldwin girls victorious against Albert Gallatin, but the boys